To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart Perspective. Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day. Yeah. Everything you need to know that you never knew, that you need to know. Lockhart Perspective.
I've always been a unique person, you know what I mean? Sort of laid back in a way, but very adamant and very passionate about what I believe. I think a lot of times that sort of throws people off because they don't expect me to have the mindset or the process of thought that I do. And so when you come in to watch my channel, you may hear a myriad of thoughts and ideas that could be different from others. What I want you to do is just sit back, like, share, and subscribe.
Well, hello, and good morning to all of you. We're going to be looking today at our tax dollars at work. That's right. Let's just imagine the story, shall we? Okay, I'm going to put it all together for you. In a world. You already know it's some BS when something starts with in a world. So in a world where drugs and violence can overtake a nation, can overtake the youth of our land. In a world, you want a government to help, to send funds, to send money, to make sure that these children are not overwrought with violence. And the United States of America, as usual, comes to the rescue. Can I get an amen? You know, sometimes you have got to just laugh so that you do not cry. You absolutely do. Absolutely. So let's look at what we got coming here. We have the United States. Here are the players. The U.S., better known as I can fix it. The U.S. better known as, hey, where'd the money go? The U.S. better known as, they can pay for it. Taxpayers got it. They got it. I want to say hello to Melinda. My boy Ronald, how's it going, my brother? How you doing? And look who's in the house, Alan Davis, big baby. Hey, Maureen Olson, how you doing? You guys, you know, it's like, until the Father returns, we're just going to be riding it out. That's what it looks like. We're just going to ride it out and just watch each and everything that goes on. And we don't really have much of a choice. We need to just get a whole stock of popcorn, make sure that it's real popcorn. And the story that I'm going to share with you all today, as we have our pretend popcorn and our coffee, let me give us our canned music for jazz. I'll give us our canned jazz in just a few seconds. But the story today comes from a company that I absolutely loved. I absolutely love. And that is the work that Judicial Watch does. And so I subscribe to them. I don't know whether you do or not, but I'm going to make sure that I recommend that you do. You can get their newsletter. You can also check them out and support them on YouTube. But you can also give them a few coins if you can, you know, however little much you can, $1 here, $1 there, whatever you can do. Because every little bitty penny helps, and it does. It does. It really does. It really does. So let's go on ahead and get a gander of that. This is where this story hails, from whence it hails. Oh, well, I just got a news break. Serena Williams, huh? He announces his retirement. I mean, she announces her retirement. Wow, she's going to be leaving. Who knew? Okay, so let's get into the story, shall we? Let me get Serena off the screen over here on my right hand side, and let me go ahead and give us some of the can jazz, the music. We got the music. You know that elevator music? Remember that? Remember that? Yeah, I'm gonna give it a little bit low. A little lower. There you go. 19. 19 should be good. If it's too loud, please let me know, because I don't like it when I listen to the replay and it's all and I'm all, and all of a sudden in the United States. So I don't like that when that happens. All right, so let's just get into this story. Let's get into it. I'm gonna give you the whole screen. I'm gonna be over here. Okay. So now the title, as you saw, is the United States spends $800,000 to see if its $2 million Salvadorian youth and violence prevention initiative is effective. Well, let me come back on this side and just let you know, so that you understand that you got to make money. You got to spend some money to make money, baby. And then you got to watch where you got to see how your money, I can't say it with a straight face. You got to make money. You got to spend money to make money. Then you got to monitor the money to see how it's working. I mean, they could have just opted to follow the pockets in which it really went. I mean, that would also help. See how many people bought houses offshore or open up offshore accounts, or, stuff like that. But I digress. Here we are. I'm going to stop being bad. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop being bad. All right. So less than a year ago. So let's get this right so that you guys understand the context in which this was presented. May the 9th of 2022, Judicial Watch published this story. Okay. All right. So that you understand exactly what we're looking at. All right. So less than a year after the government dedicated millions of dollars to study if its costly old Latin American gang prevention initiative is effective, it will spend another $800,000 to research if a similar taxpayer-funded program is working in El Salvador. Mind you, it said a similar, not the same. That's important to note. A similar, which means there's more money going. Okay? Get that in, put that in perspective. That's not only the first set of money, but there's also other money to go and check on the other money. All right? So you can follow how the sham is going. Okay, so to research if a similar taxpayer-funded program is working in El Salvador. The new probe will focus on the Police Athletic League, or the PAL. It's a youth outreach program which Uncle Sam has funded in the impoverished Central American country to the tune of $2 million. The money flows through the Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Affairs, INL, a State Department offshoot created in the late 70s to reduce drug trafficking into the United States from Latin America. The INL claims to keep Americans safe by countering crime, illegal drugs, and instability abroad. It is handsomely funded by Congress, and this fiscal year, the State Department requested, wait for it, $456.8 million for its drug-related programs. The funds help strengthen the rule of law. I can't say this. The funds help strengthen the rule of law, human rights protections, law enforcement capacity, anti-corruption activities, and other critical efforts around the globe, according to the budget request. But the government does not really know how effective INL-funded initiatives are, and therefore pours more money into finding out. PAL is a police-led outreach program that engages youth in activities such as soccer, basketball, swimming, dancing, to keep them from engaging in violence. It aims to keep at-risk youths away from potential gang and migration activities. by providing fun and safe after-school activities, according to the State Department. Quote, instructors lead conversations with the kids about drug prevention, resilience during COVID-19, and risks of immigration, among others. The agency writes in its description of the Salvadoran initiative, more than 20,000 children or kids, meh, whenever I see the word kids, I think, meh, have enrolled in the program, which is run by a local nonprofit. My husband this morning asked the question, local nonprofit? He said, somebody making a profit. Ortega. My husband said, somebody's making a profit. I was telling him, you said somebody's making a profit. Oh, yeah. And it's a local nonprofit with United States funds called the, get this, Fundación. You guys got to help me. Fundación, is that it? Fundación Patria Unida, I think. That works to end social insecurity. COP certified by El Salvador's National Civil Police oversee activities and build strong bonds with the youth participants. And that's according to the United States authorities. And you know, they can be trusted with all the information that they disseminate, right? All right. Besides getting millions in funding from the American taxpayers, the El Salvadorian initiative has received $3.6 million from a foundation. Let that sit there. Who can imagine which foundation that is? And how about because it's ambiguous. Here it is right here. It's the ambiguity of it all that does it for me. See that? A foundation. $3.6 million from a foundation. How about we take a guess that it might start with the word open? How about that? What do you think, Charlie? What do you think, Angela? Jerry Moe, what's going on? Rage Against the Machine. Do you think that it might start with the word open? Could be. So it says here that now the United States will invest an additional $800,000. Well, because it's only fair. An additional $800,000 to find out if the youth initiative is working. The goal is to evaluate and scientifically validate the methods, impact, and effectiveness of the PAL program in El Salvador, according to the grant announcement. Now, the grant recipients are asked to include a gender equity and inclusion analysis that addresses the ways in which women, gender diverse persons, and members of other marginalized and underrepresented groups might affect and be affected differently by the research. Did they ask your permission, Ronald Foos, if they could do this? Did they? Charlie Sigler, did they ask your permission? Maureen Olson, sister, did they? Angela, come on now. Maybe they asked you and you just didn't get around to passing us the memo because maybe they only had one person that was giving the one person that was giving out the approval. Nobody? I don't think so. Well, this includes safe and meaningful participation. Quote, strengthen your proposal, the advertisement says. In other words, it's an advertisement. Strengthen your proposal by incorporating the results of this gender equity and inclusion analysis into your project design, the State Department, who writes to potential grant applicants, says. They continue with, include a description of how you will minimize any inequities. And identified potential risks findings will be published in English and Spanish and shared with the police leadership in El Salvador. So here's the deal, and I'm going to go ahead and read the rest, but I'm going to take a second here. Gonna take a second while my husband fixes the wayward garbage disposal. And the brother's on the Times frame, and y'all already know I like it when he put on that belt. When the brother put on That repair tool belt. I don't have much to say. His window is very short because he's got to get back over the road. So he's got to do it now. Sorry about the noise. But yeah, here's the deal. So basically, you got a cat that's sitting there in a corner with a handful of money. This is what I imagine our government looks like. The cat is sitting there, he got a handful of money. And it ain't his money, right? I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna use these as the money. These are my photo thingies. So yeah, yeah. I got it. I got you, fam. What you need? Man? Man. It ain't no problem. Oh, you do? That's what you want? Oh, that's what you want to fund? Man, yeah. I've always wanted to fund golden toilets. Here you go. Here, take this. There you go. Here goes some more. Here you go. You need some more? Man, I got you, fam. Whenever you need more, just come and see me. I'm your man. But it ain't his money. It ain't their money. And they're shoveling the cash, and it's really not going where they say it's going. And this, again, is my opinion. The name of the channel is the Lockhart Perspective, and this is my perspective. I'm going to give you my perspective on the first part. You see what I'm saying, Ronald? Let me go ahead and give you what my brother's saying right now. I'm curious anytime America wants to spend money on anything involving children. Most assuredly. Okay? Hey, Monifa. How you doing, pretty lady? Okay? So here's the thing. They truly and honestly want us to buy into what they're doing, but you didn't know this was happening. And for those of us who did, we're not the majority. I can see your post, Rage. Okay? We're not the majority. For those small, minute amount of us that are just now getting onto this or just now learning, we didn't know. But yet and still, our dollars are going over the water. And I don't believe that it's going where they say. Sips coffee slowly. You know why? Because whenever they tell stories and they're always under the lower wire, you never know, because they pass the money out or they tell you where the money's going. And then later they get a whole bunch of people to start dividing it and putting it in their pockets. And that's exactly what I see. It's my perspective. It's what I feel. It's what I think. May not be true, may not be accurate. But unless I can see an actual spreadsheet, a ledger, or even better than that, a building with all the kids inside of it, and they're doing exactly what you said, and I can see an effective track record continuously. Okay, yeah. But in any case, what the heck would I care about what's going on over there? When you got children in inner city Detroit, you got inner city Chicago, you got inner city Los Angeles, you got inner city Houston, you got inner city Louisiana, right there in what is it, Baton Rouge? You got all these different areas, dude. Don't get me to going. You want to help? Close the damn border. That's number one. That'll help us. That'll help. And then number two, take all that money, flip the script and turn it around and take it back inward. Since you pull it up, you jacking up the taxes on us, which is totally illegal in the first place. Get rid of the whole entire deal. If you want to impress me, pass the money out to the people who collected the money together. Use the money collectively to go to those cities that I just mentioned, for starters. But you're not doing that. You know why? Because y'all all piling the money in your pockets, baby. Y'all won't go back down to my neck of the woods. Y'all ain't going to New Orleans. Y'all not going to Mississippi. Y'all not doing that. And if you are, they're getting such minuscule amounts of money. Such teeny amounts of money. Raw B, what's up, sister? They're getting such teeny tiny amounts of money that ain't nobody knowing about it. But yet and still, you're coming back letting us know that you want to go over here and check on the money that you done gave to El Salvador to stop the drugs going on over there. You guys are giving them youth programs. Meanwhile, our children can't even figure out how to go from one day to another. And then on top of that, if you want them to give you some gender equity stuff in their proposals, but then you're the same cast that say that if our schools don't comply with what you want to do on that topic, you're going to take the free lunch away? See, that's the reason why we don't need to keep taking people's free stuff. Because everybody say it's free. Free ain't free. Free got a price. And you going to pay eventually. If you get on that free ride boat, you better off to say, no, it's good. It's good. Daquan going to take some peanut butter and jelly, an apple, and a Capri Sun. And if that's all I can afford for this week, that's what he going to eat. And I'm going to make sure I make him some breakfast before he go to school. I'm going to give him an egg. I'm going to give him a little bit of oatmeal. All right? I'm going to give him a little piece of toast. I'm going to put him on that bus, oil him up real good. Because you know how we oil and shine our kids. We shine our kids, y'all. We oil and shine our kids and send them out. Put some essential oils on them, little frankincense, little myrrh. Shine them up real good. Send them on to school. Let them make sure that they eat their lunch. And bring them on home and cook for them. But see, when you constantly have your hand off for free stuff, they can take your money and do this kind of stuff with, and then they can turn right around and threaten you if your school system does not toe the line. If your school system does not play the game that they want them to play, oh yeah, they're going to tell you, we're going to take your free lunch. And who does it affect? It affects the marginalized children, the communities that they say need the help the most. That's who it affects. That's real talk. The story goes on to say that less than a year ago, Judicial Watch reported on a similar controversial investment, $2 million, to study the effectiveness of another INL program in Latin America, and it's known as the Gang Resistance Education Training, or GREAT, and has been funded by the United States of America since 2010 in El Salvador, Honduras, Panama, Costa Rica, to prevent youth crime, violence, and gang involvement. Government figures show that 487,890 at-risk youth in Honduras, 170,767 in El Salvador, and 150,000 in Panama, and 45,685 in Costa Rica have completed the United States finance program in the last decade, but outcomes are unknown. So the government spent an additional $2,025 to have the nonprofits academics provide in-depth outcome evaluation. Ronald, double check me. Did I say that number right? $2,025,000, or is that $2,025,000,000? What is that? That's $2 million. Yeah, that's money. Money that they don't need to spend, but nonetheless, double check me, Ronald. It goes on to say that it does not appear that the monstrous United States investments to counter crime and drugs in Latin America is having much of an impact. Latin America is the world's most violent region, according to a study published by the Florida International University, or the FIU. The report includes figures released over the last decade by, of course, the World Health Organization. Well, because, they always want to help. And here come their sidekick, the United Nations and the Crime Office. That show, when compared to other world regions, crimes in Latin America tend to be more violent, murder is committed more frequently, and the threat of or use of physical force is more common. Additionally, Latin Americans' average prison population rate is more than double of that of the world, the academics found. There's your tax dollars at work. There's your money at work. Hey, Oz. Old head Deuce, hey. Huh? There's your money. They're your money, baby. That's our money. And that's what it's doing. Do you know what this sounds like to me? It sounds like a cover. Sounds like a cover. Sounds like a laundering scheme. But then again, it's just my perspective, you guys. I don't know none of this to be true. I'm just saying what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me. Sounds to me like somebody took a little bit of washing powder and some water, scrubbed it together, and they laundered that, and you'll never find out what happened. Here's why I believe that. Because the United States, over the past several years, has been inundated with individuals from the exact same region that they claim to have helped. Moreover, the preponderance of those individuals that come here that engage in crimes are generally engaged in trafficking as well as drugs. And they are the very specific age that they mention, young men. When we look at some of the photos and the pictures of people who are coming from over there through the southern border, those individuals are certainly war age men. They're not little babies. They're not little kids. They're not little children who'd be able to go out and join a soccer team or a, football team, little bitties. No, they're not that at all. Maybe FIFA, they can join FIFA because they're big guys. And they're very seldom women coming over. However, what has been used in America lately is the fact that there are people who are coming over here and they are pushing you, telling you to feel sorry because it's women and children and families. But when you look at those photos, I don't see the women. I don't see the children. I don't see the families. And think about it. Most of the men that are in those countries, for the most part, are very conservative in that they don't want their women doing what they do. So wouldn't it stand to reason that they would more than likely leave them there, come over here, get themselves situated, and then maybe pay a coyote to bring those family members over here? Or maybe they would send them money so that they would be able to withstand everything they're dealing with there, and then eventually get them here. I just can't see them doing that. So the fact is that we don't know where the money went. We don't know how it's working because the money didn't go where they say. It sounds like a laundering scheme to me. It sounds like a scheme that says, hey, let's just throw all of our money over here. Let's just fund it over here. Let's just do all of this stuff over yonder. Let's do all of this stuff over yonder. And if we're doing it all over there, won't nobody ever be able to know that what we were doing is really buying our way in. Maybe it was their dues. Who knows? But I do know that it ain't always what it seems. It's not always what it seems. Do me a favor, you guys. Make sure that you guys share this and make sure that you double check that you are still subscribed to the channel. Okay? Make sure you're still subscribed. Make sure that bell is still clicked. Okay? They're munching over here. They're really munching. You get like 100 views, 87 views, 60 views. They're chewing. They're munching. So I need you. But with that said, that is part of the problem, is that the monies are never going where they say that they're going. The monies are always going someplace else. The monies are always doing something else, but they're going to tell you what it is. But even that topic in and of itself, even to tell us something like that, should enrage every one of us. Even say, hey, we're giving $2 million, or we're giving $1 billion, or we're giving more $800,000 to do X, Y, or Z. This place is out of control. Do they know we know it's out of control? Disciple of the Messiah, baby. Good morning, Scan family as well. Do they know we know? We see them? We see them. What is my favorite phrase? We see you with them big old bozo shoes behind that tree. You can't hide. We see Toto trying to pull back that cover. We see Toto trying to pull back that curtain. We see Toto. Get him, Toto. Get him. Get him, Toto. Get him. This is a hot mess, but this is us. This is a hot mess, but this is us. This is what we do. That's a lot of money. So let me read what you guys have to say. Invaders brought in by the United States, Americans attacked by our own government. Yep. There's somebody loving on Disciple. They always have money for other issues, but nothing for certain people over here. Exactly. So they don't care. They're going to do whatever they want. Absolutely. Alley Power. Ali Power said that. Scan family says they don't care. Mm-hmm. Any whistleblower or hero. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, old head deuce. And you know what I believe about that old head deuce? Let me tell you what I think. I think that was created to smoke out the people who would tell. That's what I think. I think that whole whistleblower thing was created just to smoke out the people who would tell, to get rid of them, to eradicate them, to ostracize them. 86 out there. Yeah, that's what I think. Ali Power says our elders always said that they would never tell you everything. But nowadays, they can't hide it for long because the internet is undefeated. Disciple of the Messiah says they are not being held accountable by anyone but you, dear Sister Alicia. Oh, Lord, don't say that. Don't tell that. Don't tell it. Hey, Daryl Calhoun from Bloomington, Indiana. Ali says Target. Agreed. Blessings to Raw B. Privilege. Sister Raw B. Supporting good content. I appreciate that, sister. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat. Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else want to give one? You know your sister. I ain't prejudiced. I ain't saying no. Scan Family says, yes, it was created to find out who will tattle. Yeah, they encourage you to tattle, and then they turn right around and tell you not to tattle. Charlie, I love those hearts. Yeah, don't tattle, but then we're going to follow you to your car if you do. We want you to tattle. We encourage you to tattle. Tell. Tell. Mm-hmm. Yeah, tell. That's what they want you to do. They want you to tell, so that way, now that they see you, they got you. Right? Now that they see you, they got you. That's the way they do it. That's the way they got to do it. That's the way they have to do it. Now that they see you, now they're going to look at every single person who ever tattled. Think about it. I'll hold. Put the name of the person that you can think of. Everybody right now, think of a person that you have that you know of in the media, or in the business, government, Julian Assange type people. Put the names of the people that you can think of that have tattled, and we're going to all look at it together. Okay? That's right, Ali Power. Everyone must be accountable except for them, right? Yeah, put everybody that you guys can think of. Breitbart, yes, Daryl. Oh, man. And he ain't here. Snowden, come on now. Yep, Mark Schumann snuck in here on me. Okay. All right. See Snowden, we see Breitbart. I say Assange because to me that was just the worst. Oh, Marie, you think he was a snitch? He could have been a snitch. And maybe that's the reason why he's not. Old head Deuce says Assange too, but he could have been snitching. Was he snitching when they caught him? Is that what was going on, or he was a potential snitch? He was a potential snitch. Oh, the homeopathic doctors that came up. Wow, that's facts, Ali Power. That is facts. But you know what's so amazing to me? I was just looking at a documentary the other day, and they were talking about how we evolved from medicine, natural medicine, to now. And it's whoa boy, just to think back in the days, my grandmother, my great grandmother, and all of them, all the Native American women, okay, all the women who are Niji natives to this place, and possibly other countries as well, because this is not the only country that had beautiful rainforests and that had beautiful elements to create health tonics and tinctures and things, right? But if you think back JFK to a point, right? Yeah, because he did speak out. Remember? He sure did. He sure did. David Kelly, Rage Against the Machine, said he's proud to be a whistleblower. He's proud to be a whistleblower. I am too. But if you think about all the natural stuff that they used to use, if you got sick or if you got little worms in your stomach, you take the what did they take? They would take burdock, and they would take black walnut, and they would take all this other stuff, and they'd be in there, you know, give you some bitter taste and stuff, and you'd be like, bitter, bitter stuff. But it fixed you. It ailed you. It fixed what ailed you. It fixed what ailed you. I think he knew things about them. And what happened on his island. Yeah, I think he did. And I don't believe that chick is alive at all. I believe either she's already been whacked or something, but I don't even think what happened at all. That Ali Power says. Danny Casolaro. Let me see who that is. Casolaro. Let's see. Danny Casolaro. Let me check it out. Ooh. Okay. American freelance writer. That's all you had to show. Was that he was a writer. Joseph Daniel Casolaro was an American freelance writer who came to public attention in 1991 when he was found dead in a bathtub in room 517 of the Sheraton Hotel in Martinsburg, West Virginia. His wrist was slashed 10 to 12 times. Whoa, wait a minute. And they ruled it a what? 10 to 12 times? And it's ruled a self-deletion? Oh, okay. Here's a story. What is this? 1991. Let's glance together. We got a few more minutes. Okay, here we are. Okay, let's see. This is a good thing. I never heard of this guy. Do you see what the title is? Let's all dig in together because I don't know. Danny Casolaro liked hanging out in bars, nursing along a beer. He liked pretty women. He liked Tom Waits and Randy Newman. So did I. I liked Randy Newman. He liked Hemingway. But most of all, perhaps, he liked his friends. Quote, you're going to find 50 people who come up to you and say, I was his best friend. That's how Danny made people feel. A friend said a few days after Casolaro's body was found in Martinsburg, West Virginia hotel. Ann Klink says that Casolaro could make a Friday night seem like New Year's Eve. A few months ago, she remembers Casolaro. She met him for a drink at Duke Zebert's. She had recently turned 40. She was depressed. She went to the restroom, she says. When I came back, Danny had his back to me, with his arms raised like a conductor. He turned around and gave me a little wink, and he led everyone into singing Happy Birthday. I just stood there, she says. Afterward, she pointed out that her birthday had been several weeks earlier. Quote, he said, Anne, every day should be your birthday, close quote. The question that this article asks is what happened to Danny Casolaro? Did this freelance writer become so disheartened in pursuit of the biggest story of his life, a story that struck even one of his best friends as impossible, that he retreated to a hotel room miles from home, got into a bathtub, and slashed his arms as many as 12 times? Or was he murdered because he knew too much about a scandal that reached to the highest levels of government? Perhaps no one will ever know with any certainty. Martinsburg authorities initially ruled the death a suicide. and their investigations has so far yielded no evidence of foul play. They continue to examine forensic evidence and Casolaro's physiological profile. An autopsy report released yesterday, according to this article, said that he had traces of an antidepressant and a prescription painkiller in his system. A bottle of pain-killing medication prescribed to Casolaro after a root canal work in 1988 was found in his room. Casolaro's brother, a doctor, said that as far as he knew, Danny was never treated for depression. Friends are urging the family to hire a private detective. Casolaro had told people that he was going to West Virginia to meet a source. He said that he was about to break a story that he had been pursuing for more than a year. A story about a global conspiracy that tied together several scandals and alleged scandals. Iran-Contra affair, the Bank of Credit and Commerce International, the Justice Department's alleged theft of software from a computer company called Inslaw. On August 10th, 2 days after he arrived, his body was found by hotel employees, an apparent suicide. There was a brief note, which authorities have refused to release even to his family. He was embalmed on a Sunday, with haste that later seemed peculiar to relatives who had not been yet notified. Local authorities said they followed routine procedures. In the ensuing weeks, friends and family still say they cannot believe Casolaro, 44, would ever kill himself, even though several concede that suicide may be sudden, unpredictable, and inexplicable. Arthur Winfield, a retired staff officer of the National Security Agency and a friend of the Casolaro family for 28 years, has considered the circumstances again and again. He says, quote, "I came out with 100 different answers, and I've stopped playing that game with myself," says Winfield, 59. He continues, "But I can say that the Danny Casolaro, who was my best friend, beloved friend, who I grieve for very much, was not a person that would have committed suicide. It's not like we're all in mass denial," says Klink, a television producer. Continues with, "It's the fact that we knew him for so long, and you'd think there'd be something, some crack in that exterior." She finds suicide by razor to be most improbable. "He would have jumped off the Empire State Building with firecrackers," she said. Wendy Weaver, who dated Casolaro for 7 years and at one time lived with him, concurs. Danny hated the sight of blood, she says, matter-of-factly. Additionally, she continues, he didn't like to be seen naked. To be found in a tub naked, that's not Danny, she says. He had an unconventional career. By many conventional measures, Danny Casolaro was not a success. His career in journalism was undistinguishable. His attempt at entrepreneurship didn't pay off. Being in debt was more the rule than the exception. He published one novel, which he apparently paid a vanity press to print. His resume says that he participated in some of the most investigative efforts of the last 20 years for newspapers and scientific journals, but the record is thin. His stories appeared in places like Home and Auto, El Dorado News, Times, and the Media Horizons. Casolaro grew up in North Virginia. His father was an obstetrician. Casolaro went mostly to Catholic schools and graduated from Providence College in 1968. He came from a family of 7 children, although one brother born with a heart defect died at the age of 1. And another sister named Lisa, who went off to Haight-Ashbury in the days of summer of love and wound up dead from drugs at 17. It's actually that issue that makes the question of Danny committing suicide almost impossible, says brother Tony Casolaro. He was sort of angry at her. The effect was so damaging, he continues. Casolero freelanced for several years, working out of his home. Then he acquired a small company that published specialized newspapers, including Computer Daily. Weaver says Casolero was the only writer. Casolero sold the company in 1989. Weaver, who works in advertising, says, quote, Casolero wasn't the best businessman, and he didn't do as well from the sale as he had hoped. The buyer was a sharp negotiator. Danny couldn't compete with that, she says. Casolero worked for the new owners for a brief period but left. Weaver says that he had difficulty adjusting to be an employee and was forced out. Casolero searched for a job after he left the trade newsletters. Weaver says he prepared a resume that described his interests in a challenging and rewarding executive position managing a media operation. He didn't find a job, but he did begin on his own to investigate the Inslaw case. It was to become an obsession. The story began with the Inslaw's allegation that the Justice Department had stolen software from it. Casolero began to develop his octopus conspiracy theory about a crime cabal with global reach. Friends say that he devoted most of his time to the story. Casolero is not the only writer who became intrigued by the notion of a massive conspiracy. Another pursuing a similar story reports that Casolero called him in the early parts of June, and perhaps to scare him off, he said he had a book and even a movie deal wrapped up. Nothing could have been further from the truth, according to Roger Donald, the top editor at Little Brown Books, to whom Casolero submitted his proposal. Quote, I'll tell you this, Donald says, anybody who killed him over that manuscript made a mistake. That was not a book that was going to be published, close quote. 6 to 9 months ago, Donald says, he met with Casolero but found that his book proposal was hyperbolic and very unprofessional. A couple of weeks before his death, Casolero called and said, quote, I've really got the whole thing together now, the editor says. But Casolero's revised proposal showed no improvement, Donald says. My final remark to him was, I could write this outline. I could say that there have been the following crimes and list them. Maybe he was onto something, but he sure as hell couldn't express it, close quote. He loved his friends. While Casolero failed professionally, he succeeded socially. Those who knew him say that he had a knack for making them feel cherished and special. Quote, I would have no problem saying that Danny was not as learned as or as bright as I, Arthur Winfield says, but Danny had a certain quality about him. People like to orbit around that quality. Weaver thinks that quality was empathy. He was one of the most compassionate men I've ever known, and the most caring, she says. He was always upbeat. Klink remembers Casolero volunteered to escort her to the high school reunion, where a couple of expectant parents were so taken with him after one meeting that they named their baby after him. Many friends have memories of him revolving around birthdays and holidays, when Casolero made a point of inviting those who might be lonely to his family's house. He loved surprises and jokes, but never at anyone else's expense. Once Klink says that she bought a box of chocolates to his mother's house as a Christmas gift, and when Casolero's mother tried to sample the candy, Klink says she couldn't pry it out the box. Klink discovered, to her embarrassment, that she had brought a plastic display. Casolero stepped in. He says, Anne, you had to do it again. Here, it's Christmas, and you had to bring your gag box of chocolates, closed quote. I'm not going to read the rest of this, but I am going to give you guys because I think it's a really sweet story that somebody took the time to write about this guy. But here's what I want to do. I'm going to take, as you may or may not know, the one key word out of here, and that's Inslaw. And that, my friends, is what I am going to look at. Right there. That part right there is what I will be digging into just to see. I don't want to try to solve anything. I'm going to give you guys the link. But I'm going to put it down below so that you can read it. All right? Okay? So here I've got it. Even though I don't care for Wikipedia much, but Wikipedia has it. They have what they want us to know about it. It can always be edited. Wikipedia can be edited. It can be edited by whomever, you know, whomever, for whatever the reason. So we're just going to glance, we're just going to familiarize, because I don't know. NSLAW Incorporated, Type Private Information Technology, Institute for Law and Social Research, 73 to 81, founded in Washington, D.C., January of 81, William Anthony Hamilton. NSLAW Incorporated is a Washington, D.C. based information technology company that markets case management software for corporate and government users. NSLAW is known for developing Promise, an early case management software system. When was that done? An early case management software system. It is also known for a lawsuit that it brought against the United States Department of Justice in '86 over Promise. NSLAW won damages in bankruptcy court, but these were overturned on appeal. The suit resulted in several Justice Department internal reviews, 2 congressional investigations, the appointment of a special counsel by Attorney General William Barr, and a lengthy review of the special counsel's report under Janet Reno. Boy, that was a big dude. NSLAW claims were finally referred by Congress to the Court Federal Claims. Anytime you get that many Court of Justice and Department of Justice and Attorney General of the United States and all of that stuff, yeah, chances are homeboy was taken out, but not to lunch. More than likely, he was taken out, but not to lunch. Yeah. So, thank you for that story. Vince Foster taken out, but not to lunch. Oh, yeah. You know what? Their name is really like Candyman or Beetlejuice. You can't say it 3 times. It's like if you say it down 3 times, you're gonna really tick somebody off. Or like I said the other night, I was on a show and somebody had ticked me off, and I was like, "You call down the thunder." When you say their names, you call down the thunder. That is my favorite line from The Grinch. Oh boy, that is my favorite line from The Grinch. You call down the thunder. Boy, I tell you, that Grand Wizard is hilarious. That Jim Carrey, I love that guy. He's hilarious. Okay, let's see. Kubrick. Oh. Really? Yes. I see that. Okay. But it's like if you say their names 3 times fast, it's like him, them, and that other dude, the Hungarian. You gotta whisper their names like this because you don't want anybody to get you. Just like I say, Mr. Naranga. Mr. Naranga. Yeah. We got to come up with a lot of different names. Mark Schumann says the craziness continues. When an investigative reporter looked into the reporter was, what? What? Dude. You see what I'm saying? Some they don't want you to know, leaving people alone. I told a good friend of mine, "Oh, should I tell this story?" And I was like, "Nope, leave that story alone. Leave that story alone." Didn't work, but I said, leave it alone. Didn't help, but I said, leave it alone. What Jerry Mo said. Alley Pro. All right, y'all. We're right at an hour. We're coming up on our hour mark. And that's as long as we go. But we'll be back. I'm going to figure out something else to do for tomorrow. Hey, listen, I like what just happened. You threw out something in the chat. We're gonna incorporate that. We're incorporating that because see, remember, until the button broke, for those of you who are old school here who remember our button that we had for the news button, we used to have a news button and it broke. But for those of you who want to throw a story, we're gonna throw a story. I'm gonna have a story, then I want you guys to throw one just like you just did. So give us some content and ideas. Yes, yes. The ones that were to testify against them. See, everybody's getting these lunch dates, but they're not taking the lunch. It'll be like the movie Firefly. I think hackers will expose lots of things in the future. I think AI gonna start telling on them. Because they're putting all this stuff in there for them to tell on you, but they're not telling who they can tell on. So they're just dropping all the information. We want this, 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 and this. And this is the criteria for this, 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 and this. And then we want you to tell us about them doing this, 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 and this. And this is the dollar amount, and this is the threshold. And this is this. And where did the money go? And we want to see this and that. And all of a sudden, baby, they're gonna start spitting lists out. The computer they're gonna start spitting out lists, and they ain't gonna be able to stop the computer. That's it. Okay, that's it. Yes, they're gonna, yes. Like a mug. They're gonna be going rogue like a mug. Okay. You're gonna go out in the rain and you're gonna get wet. I predict. That's what I predict. That's what I predict. I predict that that's gonna happen. They're gonna get out here and start doing so much stuff. They're gonna get out here and they're gonna have the AI just doing all kinds of stuff. Hey, listen, you guys, don't forget that there is an AI that actually is a prosecutor in China. Do you guys know that? It's an AI prosecutor in China. So I believe that that's what's gonna happen. I predict you're gonna create an AI to get us, and it's gonna get you. I predict. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't know what I mean. Y'all don't know what I'm talking about. Y'all don't know. You don't know there? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Y'all know that song? Man, I be in here partying by myself sometimes. I'm gonna show you guys this AI story. Okay, then we're gonna get out of here. Yeah, I'll be partying alone. So I'm gonna tell you the story while I dig up the video. I'm gonna dig in here while I dig in for the video. And I'm gonna tell you the song that I was humming the other day as the family. Remember, you guys, I told you we were going somewhere on Sunday, right? Taking a family drive. Well, I'm in the car just grooving. Love Shack, yeah. The whole car was like, but I can get away with it because I'm the only girl in the family. I'm the only girl. I'm the only one. It's just me. But my husband's sitting there driving. He's like, I'm like, come on, sing. I get to the chorus and he's still shaking his head. My grandkids are in the back seat like, can I have some headphones, grandmother? One says. All right, here you go. Here is the AI prosecutor. All right. Here we go. It's an AI prosecutor. It's just 1 minute and 46 seconds. Okay. And there's another one after that too. All right. I done cleaned out the house doing my songs. I'm down to 16 people. I done cleaned out the house. Looking for a love getaway. All right. Let's go. Scientists in China have reportedly built a machine prosecutor that uses artificial intelligence to
Charges. The system can file a charge with 97% accuracy when given verbal accounts of events, the researchers claim. The machine was trained using information compiled from more than 17,000 cases from 2015 to 2020 and can correctly file charges for Shanghai's 8 most common crimes, including credit card fraud, theft, and, quote, picking quarrels and provoking trouble, close quote. According to research published in the month of December 2021 from the journal Management Review, the AI prosecutor was developed and tested by the Shanghai Pudong People's Procuratorate, China's biggest and busiest district prosecution office, the South China Morning Post reported. The paper noted that the system could even run on a desktop computer. It works by identifying and pressing charges against a suspect based on 1,000 traits obtained from the case description text that's fed into the machine, and much of the text is apparently either too small or too abstract to make sense to people. According to the project's lead scientist, Shi Yang, the system can potentially shoulder the prosecutor's daily workload and free them up to focus on more demanding tasks. Shi and his team at the Chinese Academy of Sciences Big Data and Knowledge Management Laboratory noted that the tech would soon get upgrades to become more powerful, enough to recognize less common crimes and file multiple charges against a suspect. For Headlines with a Voice, this is Felicia Lockhart.
Did you hear what I said? That was an AI lawyer. So if you can imagine an AI lawyer, and it's all the information that they drop into the system. So can you imagine what would happen for them? Okay, trying to set us up, going out and get 80 something thousand new people for the IRS. I think it would be hilarious for it to just turn around on them. Turn around on them. I think so. I think it would. I would like to see that. Actually, I would pay to see that. I would actually take out some of those delicious popcorn kernels that we were talking about earlier and just begin to pop them randomly, just like a Pez dispenser. Pop them, pop them, pop them. Just to watch that. I would love to see what would happen to all of them. Yeah, if they were ever able to just get caught. I think it would be great. I think it would be wonderful. All right, we're out of here. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. And let's see. It'll be called, what's the word they understand? Karma. Yes, yes, yes. Yes. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you all for hanging out with us this morning. We appreciate you. We love each and every one of you guys. We're so glad that you guys are able to hang out. And tomorrow we will be here as well. I'm going to go ahead and post the next few days so that you guys know exactly what we're going to be talking about. But what I do want you all to do is to remember to bring your story. Bring your story tomorrow. Bring your story. Yeah, yeah. You hear whenever you hear that in the background, just imagine me walking like George Jefferson. Yeah, I'm a chick with a background track. You know how George Jefferson used to get it? I'm sorry. Just having a good. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy to be with you and you with me, and it's all good. But I want you to remember one thing we always say right here on any of the Felicia Lockhart Group publications. That's a real thing. That man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Most High. I want you to, first of all, take care of you. And then I want you to reach around and take care of somebody else. And until we see one another again, we see each other. I want you to continue to be blessed. Okay? You guys take care.
To receive instant notification each time I upload, please hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Lockhart Perspective. Helping you along the way. Helping you to make it through another day.